Okay, so we're going to do a little linoleum block carving. Just a small square design. Playing around with creating a radial print by multiple prints. So we're going to just design one quadrant and then print it 4 times. So in my demo here, I've been experimenting with lotus designs, floral prints, so observational drawing, and then transforming that into symmetrical. Well, just right now, just the kind of corner. I'm imagining how when I print it here, rotating it around, it'll make a hole. And you can see here it looked very square. So now I refined it. So I actually drew the arc because I wanted it to be more circular versus like a rectangle. So now I'm going to transfer this onto my print. And to do that, you want to draw over your lines with a nice soft lead pencil, 3B to 6B, or an ebony pencil. And then we're going to transfer our lines onto the block. This is called a graphite transfer. Put one circle in the middle here and kind of center these. Add some kind of texture there. Okay. Oh. And I'm going to take my drawing and my block. You can cut this out so it just rests right on top, and tape it so it stays put. Also, if you use a tool, like a Sharpie or an ink pen, to press into your lines, let's take a peek. You can, I've got backlight in the light table, it's hard to see. You can see the lines are starting to come off. Onto the linoleum block. Now, if your design is too detailed, you might have trouble carving it. You could also make it larger. If you have a really detailed design, we can blow it up and you can use a larger piece of linoleum. Now before I just lift this up and off, I'm going to just check, make sure I can see my design, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw my design out with the Sharpie. I can really see my lines. Also, whatever you carve away is going to be white, just the white of the paper. Or if you have a paper marble or a colored piece of paper, it'll just be the paper. Whatever you do not carve away will hold the ink. And we're going to use black ink for some high contrast. So, for example, if I want what I print to match what is here now with the Sharpie, I would carve around my lines. And I'll show you how to do that. I actually kind of, no, that's fine. Leave it like that. And then in your design, maybe you want some solid black, white contrast. Maybe you want thicker lines. For example, maybe I want to carve away some texture of these petals and leave some of the edge. When you carve, you're going to use one of these wooden blocks that's got a lip here that can rest on the edge of the table. So when you push into the design with your tools, you don't carve into your finger. So these tools are very sharp. if you slip, if you're holding this just on the table and you're carving towards your finger, as you see. Actually, this is not from carving, but my daughter picked out my Band-Aid. All right, that's funny. Okay, so you can push this at a diagonal or from the side to side. This tool's very little for some detail. This one's a little broader. I like to start by carving around my lines. I know I want all of this negative space to be solid, just white, kind of clear. I want that to go away. So I'm just going to start with that by carving around my line. You see? What you want to avoid doing is just carving your lines, because then you have all this black ink and just a little white line drawing versus working with shape. So consider what shapes you can carve away. Positive, negative. And instead of just carving it solid, you could do some textural carving where you leave a little bit of lines, some texture, right? Or you can carve it solid. I kind of like the idea of playing with this pattern to almost look like maybe water or like a ripple in the water. And you see I'm moving my linoleum continually so that I've got a good angle and my fingers are behind the blade. Okay, I'm going to carve here. For circles, you can put the tool in the linoleum and then just spin. It's kind of a trick here. Just spin and turn the linoleum block underneath your tool, and you can get lovely curves. Right? So I'm going to just keep on carving around this negative space, and then I'm going to decide, do I want my petals to be kind of solid? Do I want one to be dark, one to be light? I think I might have one. I like the idea of a counter change design, which is what kind of like what I just mentioned, light and dark contrast. So this one here, I'm going to make it all light except for some of the textured. I'll leave some lines that show the texture of the petal, and then I'm going to carve away all that space in between. So it's mostly white with a little bit of these kind of petal marks. Petal marks, what is that? Just the texture of the petals, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So the majority of this one's carved away, and now for this one, I'm actually just gonna carve several lines instead of the space away from the lines, and then we'll do a next video where you see how to do a proof and then make some edits.